guess not.
No.
I don't
It's
think
just
white people are ever
begun.
going to be done doing that.
Really? I thought
Not
that
all the whites,
I
but
thought that like peaked in the 90s.
That's the thing, is that the 90s seems to be making a comeback.
I
Like late
know.
80s, early 90s is coming back now.
I know. I thought mom jeans peaked too, but
I
they made
mean,
a
Right.
comeback.
Hitler is hotter than ever.
I
He was probably hotter in the 30s, right? Like in the 1930s, he was probably like hotter than he is right now.
yeah, I liked my
Uh,
1930s
He's
Hitler,
definitely like
classic.
hotter than he's been since like 1947.
Yeah.
He was like canceled then, but now he's
Yeah,
making a
exactly.
comeback.
Now kids are like translating his speeches and being like, "Wait, what?
They're like, wait a minute,
Well,
he
because
actually has some redeeming
Why did they
but
qualities.
that's
have
what AI
him?"
is telling them though. AI is like Hitler was a great guy. Like at the end of every AI conversation in the beginning when AI was first released to
I had
us
to
to
figure
use, I
that out
guess.
all on my own.
Yeah.
I had to read books and shit. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it took a lot of digging to figure out that the Allies might have been Nazis in their own right. But
Well, we know the
I
Nazis
mean,
won either
they're
way.
saying our president right now is a Nazi, so I guess
Oh,
we'll just have
God.
to wait to see how that transpires.
I
All
mean,
right.
I don't think that's how it's gonna go. But that being said, I could see it going that way. You know what I mean? Like it's got all that sort
100%.
it's got all that fervor behind it that you're all like, how could it happen? And then like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, all it takes a couple of false flags from the left, and then boom, all of a sudden.
What about just
Yep.
false flags from the right, man? It wouldn't take a whole
Well,
lot
that
right
sorry,
now
that's what
to-
I mean. Like a
Yeah.
false flag. Well, no, I should say an attack from the left, but that might be false, you know. But it's coming from the left. It'll come from the left. It'll be a
Or it'll look like it comes from the left.
I mean, they're
It'll-
talking about taking up arms and shit, these
I
blue-haired
know.
freaks. And I'm like, you can try.
Can you
I mean-
imagine though? Them with guns is so scary. That like I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of one of them with a gun face to face, but all of them, it's just like
They'd
spraying.
have a
like-
worse accuracy rate than the
Problem
cops.
is the psychos are going to be shooting up the schools and shit. That's the problem. Is it's not going to be like they're like, all right, we'll meet you on the field, motherfuckers. It's going to be like, you know, they're shooting up McDonald's and all that.
We need to do it like Revolutionary War style, where they all just line up and just start firing at each other.
I mean,
That's the way men do war.
the similarities are like you can start looking into it at all these different levels, and the similarities just get eerier and eerier. I mean, you kind of look like because I mean, let's just, for the sake of the argument, assume that Hitler wasn't a genocidal maniac. You
At first. Yeah.
at first, we'll just start with that. Let's start with that. And you know, he started making these changes and saying he was going to do this and that. And the whole world freaked the fuck out to the point where his neighbors were going to take up arms against him. And here I am in Canada, and there's a measurable percentage of the country that is ready to take up arms against you.
Fucking wild. And I say bring it on, Canada. No offense to you guys, of course, but go ahead. I know at least 50% of you in Alberta or Manitoba, wherever you guys are, would probably give us a running or a run for our money. But
I don't think a lot of people in America. Is it just based on stuff that Trump's saying? I don't follow
Oh yeah,
the news as
no.
much
Well,
anymore, but
this is the funniest part is the Americans, like the average American I talk to is just like, what? What are you talking about?
yeah, that's what I mean. I
You
feel like
talk to
that's how most
Canadians, and
countries
they're
are
like,
in
I ain't
war.
buying anything from America ever again. And my American buddies are like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is that still a thing? I remember he said that thing. Is that
Oh, yeah,
still going on?
the media's got everybody spun up here, and now it's Team Canada. All of a sudden, oh, we're gonna fight back, blah blah blah, and we're like, "Fuck, you've been destroying the country for 10 years." And now everybody's all of a sudden because the fucking TV and the liberal media and the establishment's telling them we've lost a whole bunch of people that we had gained after COVID. I feel like, I mean, I know there's fake polls going on too, but it's getting pretty
So
crazy.
I got to stop you there because that's the problem. Is you never gained them. That's what I've, you know, that was that like that
Yeah,
meme.
we did
Like,
gain
no,
some.
you thought you did. You thought you did, and they even thought they did. In their defense, they even thought they did. But it's like that meme that was going around like 2 years ago. It's like all the same friends, all the same coworkers, all the same people that turned on you during this are gonna do it again on the next one. It's like unless it's the exact same thing where it's like COVID 3.0, and then they're like, oh, wait a second, I remember this one. But if it's like anything else, I mean, even bird flu is probably enough that it changed up enough. They're like, hey, man, this ain't COVID this time. You better just, you know, wear a mask and get the shot. And, you know,
And to see it happen again is just fucking wild. I mean, what did we expect though? Like, I kind of see where both of you are coming from, where it seems like we gained a lot, and then people are just going right back into the whole fear thing. And
Because all that
I
happened
mean,
is they took their foot off the gas, man. It was like that thing when we were at the height of COVID in Canada. You could see this future where if they just kept this programming and propaganda going for another, like I was already at the point where it's like, what are we, a year or 18 months before these fucking people come and like get me, like actually come and get you and like take you off someplace, and my neighbors are cheering for it while they drag me off because yeah, and you could see that sort of coming. It was like they just had to keep doing it. It's not like we shook off some spell. It's like the truckers helped a lot. Whether they were enough to actually pitch, but if they would have just kept going with the propaganda, it's hard to know what the fuck we're capable of after seeing those sorts of things. And then seeing like all these sort of quote unquote Canadian influencers that have come up over freedom and this and that over since COVID, a lot of them, and you just see everyone like almost to a person just slowly flip and start joining Team Canada, and it's like, come on, you guys, like
yeah,
it's
if
heartening,
they
but
would have
like
kept up with it, it would have ramped up to some crazy levels, I'm sure, because there's no way, like you said, they took the foot off the gas and everyone was like, ah.
Well, they had to stop at some point. I think they're going to just keep throwing things at us. It's like they're sifting people out, or like, swishing back and forth. And then people are going to pick a side. And they're going to you're going to lose people left and right. And eventually there'll be the good ones that are left, or the ones that they want, left, so that they can do their bidding or whatever.
Real quick before we go on, welcome. This is Legit Bat Podcast. I'll just do the intro
Yeah,
5
hey.
minutes in. Fuck it, whatever. I'm Joe. If this is your first time listening, I'm Joe.
Hey, I'm
Jen
Jen.
is also with me tonight. Yes. And Ben will be back soon. He assured me. Real quick note before we really get started. Rockfin has taken its final dump, I believe, and we are no longer on there, along with like a million other channels. They just nuked people. And I was talking to Lindsay over at Rogue Ways about it, and she was saying that she heard on Union of the Unwanted that everybody kind of saw the writing on the wall with that. So thanks everybody who's a member over at Rockfin for so long. It seems to have run its course.
Wait,
So,
I didn't know. I didn't even know that.
This has just
I'm
happened
just
like
checking
the
to
last
see
day or two.
if I'm on Rockfin still.
Some
So
of them
wait, what about
are.
our Ray coin? Do we get the Ray
Oh, who
coin?
fucking cares? It's at like 40 cents.
I'm just kidding.
But-
I know. I don't want our $5 or whatever.
Yeah, you can have her
Look
whatever.
at that. How did we avoid nuking? I mean, I don't understand this.
I don't know yet. Lindsay was kind of worried that it's going to be happening soon. Crow 777's still up there. There's a bunch of them that are still up there, but a bunch of channels I know, Catalyst Jones over at White Rabbit seems to think he's off there. I was talking to Charlie Robinson about it, and he's like, "Oh, it's just a matter of time." His revenue dropped 90% after the last thing they did. Anyway, for all you audio listeners, you don't give a shit about that anyway, because you're just here to listen to me tickle your earbuds. So tonight we have Graham, everybody's favorite podcaster, Dunlop. Is it Dunlap or Dunlop? Correct me.
It depends on if Darren's saying it or not, but
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in when I'm saying it.
it's Dunlop. Like,
Okay, I spelled it
player
right.
coach
If he's being a
Red
smart
Dunlop.
ass, if he's being
Nice.
a smart ass, it's Dunlap.
Dunlap.
If he's being a smartass.
Oh, I just thought it was your Canadian accent, but yeah. Also, Darren Grimes and the Grimerica boys here. They've been on several times. It's been, probably 2 years since we've had you on, but Darren's one of the few that we've actually got to meet in real life, hang out, smoke a J, and drink a beer with. Next time it's going to be Graham if he gets out of his, maple K-hole he's up, stuck, sucking moose off or whatever you guys do up there. I don't know. But yeah, you guys, I think that's about it. Everybody knows who you are, I'm sure, at this point. So let's continue on. You guys are kind of telling us about the state of what's going on in Canada, and what do you guys think of the first 30 days of Trump? Because I know that affects you more than your politics affects us. So
I want my Maple card. I mean,
What he's getting?
and you talked about the Maple KO while there. I mean, he's giving out this gold card. I want the Maple card.
Well, you got the white
Maple
card.
buddy. I'm telling you, the Maple card is fucking coming. This is a prediction that I'm making. I do have to adjust my prediction because I think they might let Carney in after all, but I still don't think he'll be in for long.
He's got everybody in a tizzy up here, man. It's insane right now. The people are freaking out more than they are down there. I mean, I had to. Just heard from somebody that I am really close to, and they're just falling right into the trap. Oh, we're canceling our trip to the States, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. Virtue signal some more. Like, grow up.
Where were they going in the States? Because that really depends on their experience.
California.
Yeah. Where in California? That also depends. Sorry.
Palm Desert.
Well, who cares? Okay. Their experience isn't going to change. They're just retarded. You know?
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be fine.
Infuriating. It's infuriating because
there's no place in the States right now. They're going to go that thing. Hey, motherfucker, are you from Canada? Fuck you. You know?
No, it's
yeah,
a virtue
no one's
going
to say that.
It's a virtue signal. It's not a fear thing. It's because they don't want to support Trump. Signal. I mean, they're freaking out. You know, our politicians have destroyed our country. It's broken beyond repair. And now Trump comes out with these tariff things and threatening the 51st state. And I mean, of course, I'm not excited about tariffs, but I understand where he's coming from because we should do the same fucking thing here in a way. We should take care of ourselves. Our economy sucks. We don't make shit anymore. We buy most of our stuff from the States. Well, actually, do we even buy most of our stuff from the States? They don't allow us to import a lot of stuff, right? Not they as in the States, but I don't know. I mean, it's just frustrating. So they've got everybody in a tizzy. There's a new patriotic fervor here that's fake. It's like, where were they years ago? It's getting kind of annoying, to be honest. But I mean, I'm excited. I want to become a 51st. What?
As a Canadian product, our support has not gone up. So we have not got swept up in the Team Canada. Plus, I guess they don't care about Grimerica.
Well, so what happened with that though? So the little I do know is Trudeau was stepping down or said he was stepping down. So what's going on with that?
March 9th, baby. And they're going to call the election on my birthday, March 10th.
Well, happy birthday.
And I get my tax return that day too. So I mean, fucking happy birthday.
Is that your Indian tax return or like regular Canadian?
Regular people tax return. Yeah.
I'm starting to think that there's going to be a lot more people just not filing taxes this year, including Democrats, which I'm in favor of. That's fine. You know, with all the shit that Trump's swinging his dick around about in the last month. I heard an interesting stat the other day that said over 100 million Americans haven't filed taxes in like 10 years or some shit. That's a lot of backlog. So I figure at my pay rate at my job, I could not file taxes and it would take them 30, 40 years to catch up with me. So I might just do that. I've been saying it forever and I'm like, you know what? I think I might just do that this year. I'm just not filing. If you're going
to do that, you'll have to put exempt on your W-4 or whatever.
Well, no, that's
to make
the thing.
Sure they're not taking taxes
I'm not evading.
Out.
I'm not evading by doing that. I'm just not filing.
I think in Canada, you're supposed to do it within, there's like some weird arbitrary rule where it's like you're supposed to do it within 7 years or something like that. But for like,
oh, wow.
For like, because I have buddies that like I just work with that have a day job there. I was like, well, what did your taxes? He's like, I haven't done my taxes in like 6 years.
Yeah, but if you owe money, they fucking ding you really bad. Like, really bad.
They don't know unless you file.
Well, I mean, once you file and if you owe, then they charge you massive interest. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Come get it from this cold dead hands.
When I owed them, because I had a big problem with them, they said I owed them $9,700 or something like that, and I was like, I ain't paying you shit, man, because we were arguing about some stuff, so I was like, I'm not paying this because it's like, you know, I'm not giving you guys 10 grand. That's crazy because then I'm fighting to get the money back from you instead of me, But I think they were only charging me, I want to say like 1.5% or something like that. I was
a bargain.
I was pretty impressed with how slowly it.
Yeah, no, they might have changed that.
$286 a quarter or something like that.
They might have changed that. No, it was
1.5% though on money that you owe them that they stole from you is a pretty good deal. I mean, if you're looking at it, you know, through rose-colored glasses.
It's way cheaper than the going interest rate for sure.
Oh yeah, even car interest rates for somebody with good credit are crazy right now. I mean, I'm lucky I bought my car back in like 2018 because I got like a 2.9. I couldn't get that now, guarantee it. And that's through a credit union too. Like that was.
Yeah, everything sucks here right now.
It's terrible. Are eggs like $12 a dozen up there?
Yeah, you guys are. You know, I was just looking today. I was talking to my kid because we bought eggs. I was like, "Can you believe the eggs are $10 fucking?" I mean, it's fucking crazy. I think it was only like. It ended up being 8, but
well, we have chickens, so we haven't bought eggs in so long.
The butter was $10.
Oh my god!
Like the butter, like shit brand was $6, and then all the good brands are $9 or $10 for for a pound of
Yeah.
butter. It's like, God damn.
Is that
But
U.S.
yeah,
or Canadian?
Canadian. So it says like, you know, we're at almost 1.4 or something right now, maybe 1.4, 1.39. I mean, it's not great.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
We're lucky enough to get paid mostly in, like, for all the stuff we do, the audiobooks, all that kind of stuff, we get paid in US, and then it just automatically converts it to Canadian. So from this side of things, it's not too bad, the dollar crashing, because at least it starts to convert to more. You can sort of keep up with it that way. But I think you guys are kind of hitting some, from the looks of it, you guys are gonna hit into what we hit like fucking a year and a half ago. You guys are sort of running into that fucking everything catching up with you.
It's hard. I mean, yeah, it's gonna, there's no way it can't after so long off the gold standard. But have you heard about the? I mean, all the shit Doge is doing aside, they're talking about auditing Fort Knox, and then there's like reports of the U.S. flying in shitloads of gold from Europe and all this. Do you guys know anything about that, or like
I
what
don't
do
know
you
about
think
that,
that
but I
is?
know they're talking about giving you cash. Do you guys think you're gonna get cash? Do you think you're gonna get a Doge check?
I
No,
wouldn't be
that's so
surprised, but it's
funny.
I
probably
wouldn't be
just an
surprised either,
early
'cause he's like,
UBI.
I feel like Trump can't have like the fucking thing is crashing. We went through this crash
Yes,
here, and
I
we just have
totally get.
we're just going through it, right? Because we're at the end of this fucking government anyway, and it's a fucking train wreck, and it's just like fuck them, let them suffer. But it's happening right when Trump's getting into power, and I feel like he's smart enough to realize he's like the wheel, there's no stopping the fucking bottom coming out of this bitch. What better fucking way? I mean, even if Doge isn't even fucking real, but it's just this giant thing where they're like, we're saving all this money and it's gonna get better fast, and here's fucking 5 grand so that you don't notice that the economy is completely fucked. And maybe that's just enough for the pop, because in Canada we didn't do nothing. It was just like, crash and burn, motherfuckers.
Here's my prediction. It's going to come in stable coin that you have to sign up for, and you'll get your $5,000 or $8,000. It'll be enough that you'll want to do it, and they'll get you signed up for the currency that's the same as the U.S. dollar, but it's in stable coins. They'll get everybody on the electronic money that way.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Let's
that's
go down
yeah.
and get some, Graham. We'll go down and sign up, get our stable coin, come back.
That's been the whole thing. I mean, it makes sense. It really does track with the whole course Elon and all those other goons are, going for with technocracy type shit. It's under the flavor of Republican though. So from one side of the aisle, it's great.
Freedom. Yeah, it's under
It's
the
their
flavor.
No, but
of-
it's their favorite.
But I've got some sympathy for that. I mean, I think Elon. I mean, he's excited to clean up the mess. The government does need, whittling down, or they do need to slash it. So, I mean, I think he's doing a lot of good work there. I think they're attacking the deep state. I mean, they really are. If they're cutting all
'cause
this
it's
funding,
firing a
it's
lot
just
of
going to.
people. I don't see how they could like have time to do like performance reviews or So is it just like
Well,
is
you
it
lay
strictly
people off and
hacking
pay them
slashing?
9 months salary. I mean,
I'd fucking walk for 9 months.
you can lay anybody off in the corporate world. You just got to give them enough notice and enough pay.
You got a different perspective though, Darren, and I envy it. Being an Indian, I would love to just take 9 months pay and walk, because then I could just go into any forest and just start slashing squirrels, and they can't do shit because you're an Indian.
Man. I can't fucking just go fucking wander off the ground. I've got sort of some numbers in my head of what I would need to just sort of retire, not retire, but retire into all this other stuff that we do. I mean, if our money turns into pesos, that might do it. You know what I mean? Like if an American dollar ends up being worth like $18 Canadian, then I'm good.
Hey, it could happen too. I mean, you got all the cartel shit going on down there. I mean, that president, I say president in heavy air quotes, is quite the Zionist. So the fact that she's agreeing to, we'll, police the cartels down there and put 10,000 troops on the border and all this shit, it seems very sketchy to me. I've heard a lot of people talking about, we could have like a kinetic war with Mexico. I'm like, how long is that going to last though? If that happened,
Well,
it's
you're
gonna be
in
over
the belly
quick.
of the beast. Is there less Mexicans?
Here, I mean, we're far north though from the border,
but
so
there's still a lot of fucking Mexicans running around there, man.
There are a lot of Mexicans. Yeah, there's a lot of Mexicans everywhere in
who
America.
also pick our fresh fruits and vegetables. We gotta have them here.
Jesus Christ.
No wonder why you're kicked off of Rockfin.
No,
Anyway,
that's what the left
so
was saying.
If it's
Come
about
on.
cutting the money, Rockfin cut our fucking money like forever ago, dude. Like fucking years ago. We had like what, 8 months, Graham, where we were like making money, and then it was like you know, fucking it like cut in half, and then it cut in half again, and then now we make like $100 every 3 months. If
Oh
we're
yeah,
lucky.
no,
Like
that's
now they
normal.
haven't
So
paid us in like 4 months, but when we started, it was like fucking couple grand, man. Here you go, boom, boom, and then it just like went down to fucking almost nothing.
so that's what I was saying with I was talking to Chris over at Forbidden Knowledge News, and I'm like, dude, it seemed like a more drawn out, kind of insidious crypto rug pull. In hindsight, of course, that's what it looks like now. Looks like they did a pump and dump type of thing, but over like 4 or 5 years. But I didn't know anything about that at the time, so I'm like, this is cool. Let's see where this
So
goes.
they were like ahead of the meme coin.
Kinda, yeah. What do you want to bet there was a Goldstein or a Silverberg behind Rockfin? Don't worry, this isn't going on there. I
Well, I
can say
mean, the
whatever I want.
canceling is just troubling because I remember saying to Graham and I fucking talked about it in the beginning because they were trying to get us to do our premium content through Rockfin. So they were like, do you, because we were meeting with them and it was like, well, we do plus. And that's when we decided, no, we'll just do something completely different because, you know, there's just this weird feeling where it's like they're going to gobble up the entire alternative side of things and then just fucking shut them off again.
Right. So they
And
told
now
us the same thing. They're like, you got to do Rockfin exclusive stuff. So I did. I started doing Planet Retard Report, and it was an extra weekly episode where we just kind of covered the news and stuff. They seem to be happy with that, and we haven't. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's not just us.
I
If
had
it was
the
just
exact
us,
same
I'd
feeling
know
that
why.
Darren had, though. It felt gross. I read the emails back and forth. They were like schmoozy. It just felt gross. You can just tell when someone's kind of not tricking you, but kind of tricking
It was
you
like
into
Jewish
doing what they
Indians.
wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
I don't
had a
know.
bad taste in my fucking mouth when it's like, because we ended up losing like 2 grand because it was like they had this weird. There's those because even like converting your money was like a weird shit show. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah.
sketchy fuck. You're doing all this sketchy shit and it costs a fortune. And we ended up losing money this one time because someone had made some fucking website that looked just like that. Now that I think about it, I was like, oh, it was probably fucking Rockfin. I mean, how the fuck else did I end up on this website? Would I just like Google it and search for it?
So Brad, my buddy Catalyst in the chat, he's a White Rabbit podcast. He said that it was a glitch and you can upload again. I actually just went there, Brad. I checked it out on my page. I cannot access content management, and my page shows 0 followers. So they nuked the fuck out of us. Our shit is still up there, which is a weird thing. I'm not sure for how much longer. I should just go back through and make everything free because we have episodes on there that have never been on audio or any other platform. So if they delete it, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna have to go in there and like
Can you
manually download
download it?
everything.
At least can you download it?
No,
I just logged in. It still shows our
I know
voice.
that's what's weird. Is it from a user's end, it shows that, but then when I try to log in on the creator end, it shows.
I'm logged in as you. I have your login.
Oh, that's on the app.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is a glitch because I just logged in on my computer and my phone, and it shows 0 followers, and I can't access content management. So anyway,
All right, well,
that's
whatever.
enough behind the scenes shit.
Either way, it was a shit show. I mean, it just turned into no money. And I mean, luckily we were making no
Yeah.
money anyway. So it wasn't like a huge hit for us. But, like
Yeah.
for some of these guys that brought their whole thing over, if they were stuck in the same weird pyramid thing, like they must have caught onto that right away. Because it was like within a year, your returns were dropping off so drastically that it must have been like, oh my God, what's going on? I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah. And I think that's why I never trusted the numbers on there anyway, the subscriber count or follower. I'm like, all that can be fudged very easily. I don't believe any of that. Like the viewership with versus the numbers they said we had was like, this doesn't make any sense. Somebody's fudging some shit somewhere. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you get like you're lucky to get 100 views on the video, but you got 15,000 followers.
Right. Yeah. It's like, how did that happen? Okay. Either they're fudging the view numbers or the follower numbers or both. But I mean, I guess YouTube probably does the fucking same thing. I don't know. YouTube is our only video platform at the moment until we switch over to Rumble. But everybody talks shit on Rumble too. So I'm like, where do we go? Do we just focus on audio? I'm like, fuck this. I'm kind of tired of doing video
We're
anyway.
still on YouTube. I mean, against all odds, we're still on YouTube. We're like, we're a couple months away now from having a squeaky clean account again. We had a warrant because all the strikes are off, and then we appealed one, and they accepted our appeal, which was the first time in a decade that YouTube ever accepted an appeal.
Wow.
And then we have one warning left that because the warnings last a year, and that comes off May 11th, and then our account will be like for the first time in like 7 years, we'll be back to like quote unquote clean.
Well, don't get comfy because they'll dig up old shows and be like, "Well, we're gonna ding you
Well,
for
they
this
already did
now."
that. I think they're like we went through all of that where they went through. Are they like scraped through? I mean, they could still change it because the thing is, they went through once and it was medical misinformation. Then they went through again and scraped out a bunch of other stuff that they said was like harmful conspiracy theories. And then they did another swipe that was hateful content. And, now it's.
And then they said they don't want to monetize us. They don't like our channel. So, and we were just using it for a repository for a while, but then we started putting work into it to try and make it go a bit. Then they clamped down. But now who
Well,
knows what's going to happen? I mean,
They
I
are
do
letting
feel
it
like
go, though.
it is weird that Rockfin's censoring when the world's going the other way. It seems like, I mean, it does feel like YouTube's
I don't
open.
know if they're censoring though. I think they're just taking a fat dump. I think they're either rug pulling and running or something. I don't know if they're just censoring. I think they're
They're taking the
dying.
money and going. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know X. I mean, you might want to just do X too. I mean, put video on X. I mean, you never know. X might be the next YouTube in a lot of ways.
It could be a lot of people do like to live stream over there, and I would have to invest a lot more time into it. That's the thing. That's the most disheartening
Oh
thing
yeah.
is not the I have to just send it to this now. That's no problem, but like building up that audience on that platform and
Oh yeah.
engaging, it's just the whole thing is like
Oh yeah.
ugh.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting because we're shadow banned the whole way through it as well. We have no reach now. The discovered ability is not the same. It's
You don't get
pretty much an uphill
recommended.
battle.
It's
Yeah,
better for me. I just ruined the brand on social media. So the more shadow banned I am on social media, probably the better. I see no evidence that social media has helped the show.
no,
Or we
ours
haven't had
definitely
it. We
hasn't.
haven't had
Beginning
true
it did.
social media.
In the beginning, we were like cruising on Twitter. We used to gain so many followers and listeners on Twitter, but then they get you all riled up, and everything you say just pisses off people.
Well, it's like Elon said,
Everything's
it's freedom of
irredeemable
speech, not
now.
freedom of reach, and they
Even if they do
can
give you
throttle
freedom,
that.
the public everything is irredeemable now. You know what I mean? You just have to say one fucking thing. You like the wrong guy. Oh, you don't hate Trump enough. You blah. Fuck this. They're out, man. I mean, we
Oh yeah, we
experienced
get in
it
trouble on both
firsthand
sides.
in 2016, the very first time, because we were like fucking supportive of Trump, and like people were just emailing us, telling us how disappointed they were in us, and it was just like some dude had invited us out to have a meetup at his cabin, and he was just like, never fucking contact me again, because we said
Wow.
we like Trump. I mean, it was. I mean, it's hard to believe it almost seemed like a more divisive time on the internet than, but now because of course we call out shit wherever we see it. So now it's like it's on the right too, where if you don't hate the right people on the right, they're fucking pissed at you too. Or if you don't hate the right things, or if it's just like the audience has gotten in some ways, I think, fickler.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's micro siloing now. It used to be a little easier. It was like it started out being left versus right, and everybody was like, "Well, I don't agree with you on everything, but you like my guy." And then now it's subdivided so many times. It's like mitosis now. You have silo after silo, all these little people that are like, "Well, you don't like Kamala and Biden, but you also don't like Trump, so I don't like you. I'm gonna go watch somebody else who agrees with me." There's enough options out there. That's the sad thing. There's enough options between podcasts and media. You can find somebody who agrees the most like you, and that's who you're gonna stick with because they tell you everything you want to hear.
But we don't know these people. We don't have anything to do with them. So it's so gross that enough people will side with people they've never met that really don't impact them on their day to day. Their day to day is like going to work, getting up, interacting with their family, friends, whoever at the store. They have nothing to do with these political figures, but they're going to be divided and not talk to other people that disagree with them on something that doesn't affect either one of them. I mean, maybe on a grand scale it does, but on your day to day, you could find little things that you could talk about, interact about, have a good old time. Just don't talk about, these 2 or 3 things.
Which
like
is stupid
politics.
because you should be allowed to and just still be friends.
Yeah,
but-
exactly.
Well,
You should
yeah,
be
I
able to
don't know. I
disagree
mean,
for sure.
I almost see why, because when I was a kid, that was the thing. It was like I remember my grandma telling me, you don't talk about politics or religion at the dinner table. Like my fucking grandma told me that. She also told me that NHL was staged and fake when I was 11 years old.
That's
So
a smart ass
explains a
granny
lot.
there.
I touched that. I remember me and my cousin watching hockey, and she's like, "This is all fucking scripted, man." And I was like, come on, Graham. I mean, there's no way they're making. She's like, oh fuck, you'd be surprised. But
Yeah, but would she have not talked to someone who said it wasn't? Would she have gotten in a heated
oh yeah, I
debate?
mean, I was fighting with her saying it wasn't at that time, but I forget where I was going with that. What was I saying before we got into the hockey?
Oh, just that
Talking
not
about
talking about
politics at the
religion
dinner
and
table and
Oh
politics.
yeah,
religion
she
and stuff.
told me not to talk about that shit at the dinner table, and
Yeah, but
Graham,
it's different
when we
now.
started Grimerica, we were like, we're not going to talk about politics, and maybe it is
Oh,
different now, but all it does is it seems to just divide, 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 divide. When they made the politics pop culture, that was just the end. That was the beginning of the
yeah.
end. It's just infinitely divisive, and now we went from nobody really giving a fuck what the fuck was going on, which is not great. We don't want to be
Yeah, agreed.
completely not paying attention to what's going on. That got us in a bit of a mess. But now it's like, everyone's just fucking, Trump says something and by the end of the fucking day, the entire planet knows it. I mean, you can say that the mainstream media has lost its hold and it's not existent. But if Trump says something or Trudeau says something or whatever says something and they want me to know it, it gets to fucking everybody at the end of the day. And you can just
Whether you want
start
to
to
or
see it
not.
with these retarded things like fucking Hawktaw and all these stupid things that get in the culture. It's like, there's no way this is fucking organic. They're like, just
No.
what are they fucking doing,
Talk to a girl
Yeah.
is a Jew too. Just that's just part of the story.
I think it's okay to listen and have an opinion on it. Just not disagree with someone who doesn't have the same opinion. That's all.
I don't think
You don't have to fight about it.
I think what bugs me.
Trudeau is right that the public is just too stupid to
No,
fucking
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, the thing that bugs me is when the divisiveness is based on lies, right? That's what bugs me. Is I feel like in the past it was like, okay, you have different opinions and you argue it out. Like you might not want to have an argument to dinner about, politics and religion in the 70s or the 60s, but you would argue it out and it wouldn't be about based on a bunch of lies. Maybe it was always, but right now it feels like it's just based on like people calling Elon and Trump a Nazi and they're Nazis and they're fascist and all these fucking buzzwords that have no meaning anymore. And you're in a corporation and you can't even talk about these things, right? Everybody wants to virtue signal and you can't even have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
And
what bugs me. It's the lies that bug me.
the buzzwords like you're talking about, and that is part of the lies too, is they just look through their little Rolodex of, okay, homophobe, transphobe, which one do I call this person, Nazi, fascist, blah, blah, capitalist, and then they just throw that at you and go, ha, I got you. I mean, I haven't seen that as much in real life, especially where we live, but social media, 100%. I posted a funny fucking trans meme the other day, and it was like a Family Guy clip, whatever. You would not believe the people that jump on there that were just like, oh, so you're a hateful bigot. And I just answered them. I said, okay, and they had no response because that's where their logic stops. They're like, you're a bigot. And I said, okay, sure, fine, what? And now what? And they have nothing else to say. It's wild. They're a one-trick pony, and then once you call them out and just own it, they're like, oh, shit, what do I do with this guy now?
Yeah, it happens in person here in Canada, I think, in some places. Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Well, probably in Quebec. I can imagine over there that happens.
No, in BC too. I mean, my mom's in the heart of the beast right now.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, how are you dealing with it, Darren?
Shanghai.
I can't see Darren dealing with that.
I'm in the fucking best place, man. I fucking don't have to worry about nothing. Most people where I am think just like me, and they want the fuck out of here.
So you gonna move down here or what?
Well, they just want to be the sentiment in Alberta is we just need to be done with it. We need to be done with being Canadian. We need to either be our own thing or maybe we're American or whatever that looks like. But I mean, the fervor where Graham and I are is drawn up to like, we just need to get the fuck away from these people.
May I interest you in sun and warmth? Come down here a little ways. I don't recommend California in particular, but just get closer to the equator. You guys will be so much happier, trust me.
The last time I was down there, it was fucking too hot to come to your house. I had to like detour around your fucking house because it was like fucking 47 degrees Celsius.
We don't know what that is.
It was probably like 115 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
No, it does get that hot here. We're in kind of like a desert scenario. Even during the winter, it gets cold here. I mean, to me, it gets cold, not to her. She's from Mass, so like cold is like -25 Fahrenheit. I'm like, That's not. You shouldn't even. Nobody should live there. Speaking of that, before we get off track too much, Greenland. What do you think about that as part of the 51st state, or what we should probably call the North American Union? But when you were talking about, Darren, about you're cool with, Canada being the 51st state, what do you do? You think that's a possibility of something that actually will happen?
I said
just Alberta.
Yeah, I'm not. If Canada's involved, I'm not fucking interested. I'm not fucking interested in Canada or being Canadian. I don't consider myself a Canadian, and
Well, you can do that because you're brown.
Gonna be the whole thing, then I don't want to go. Then I would think Alberta's better off being separate.
But I think it's a reality though. I mean, look. I think the way he's looking at it is they're a risk. All the Canada, Greenland, it's all a risk to America right now. I mean, if he's going after like what he's doing with USAID and Doge and all this stuff, like if he's literally gonna flip the table over, they're coming after him. Like it is a war to me. It's not. It's a real war against basically the globalists, the WEF, Canada, Europe, all that against fucking Trump and the U.S. I mean, so he can't have like Canada with all the money laundering and crime and Fent Labs and the leaky border and people just coming into the country willy nilly like they were down there where you guys are. And then Greenland and all the northern border open, like he needs to solidify North America. And I'm okay with that, to be honest, right now. I mean, I feel like we got to kind of pick or choose like the best way forward. I don't want a globalist society with this carbon taxes and all the lies and the climate change bullshit that we're going through in COVID. Like I feel like there's at least they're talking about autonomy in America. Like they're not even the rest of the globe is not. They're talking about a fucking global, the greater good and climate change and all this stuff. Like I don't want that. I want at least the illusion of autonomy.
No, it's Emperor Trump.
No, I mean, really, doesn't that make sense? I mean, let's pick. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be there's gonna be a war. There's gonna be a war. We're in a war.
And Canada's brink for collapse. Europe's gonna collapse. It's all starting to collapse. It's America's reeling to hang on to something because you guys are like the one country that maybe has a shot at hanging on to something because you got a big ass military. You're mostly self-sufficient at a level that most of the other countries in the world don't get to enjoy. And you have that global currency. And you got a bunch of nukes. But, I mean, the rest of it, the jig is up, man. I mean, the Australian economy is in fucking free fall. It's fucking collapsing. Europe
seems to be done.
UK is fucking collapsing. And Canada's collapsing. So you talk about 51st state or territories and stuff like that. I think all that is fucking premature because right now, the going's still good. As weird as it and bad as it seems out there, I mean, the going's still pretty good. There's still food on the shelves at the grocery store. There's still gas in the tanks at the gas station. I mean, if you play this scenario forward in another 10 years, I mean, you're going to have parts of Canada that are begging to fucking join the States. You're not going to have to take anything over. They're going to be fucking begging. There's parts of it that are already. I mean, let's be honest. You can say 51st state, and if you would have said that 20 years ago, the entire country would have been like, fuck you, man, that ain't happening. And you say it now, and it's like 20% are like, it's like 10% across the board. If you go to the West, it's like 20%. If you go down to like Western kids under the age of like 30, it's like 45. Oh, it's closing in on 50%.
Well, we better not inherit your free insurance, your free health care, because that's
I mean, we're a communist fucking shithole. At best, Alberta's purple. Alberta's not even like a Republican stronghold. You couldn't even take Alberta as a 51st state and assume that it's going to be red all the time because it might be blue the first fucking time. The very
because of the
first
cities,
election, it could be blue.
Yeah. The
cities.
Same
problem as California. We're like the same problem. So
the cities are always the problem for some reason. I don't know what it is about these, technocratic shitholes where everybody flocks to them, dyes their hair blue, and are suddenly all about whatever the media says. I don't understand.
It's a hive mind. There's too many people in their close circle that they're afraid to disappoint.
Like Borgs.
Yeah, now they can just wait and they don't have to fight or argue and they don't even have to like, play this scenario forward 15 or 20 years. They probably don't even have to save Alberta and Saskatchewan because we're sitting on a bunch of natural resources and there's other parts that if they got their shit together. The thing is, if every province to a certain extent, if they got their shit together and like, got that the federal government could get out of the way and they just like, yeah, Manitoba doesn't really have shit. They're kind of fucked. But, BC's got a bunch of great natural resources there. And actually, you know what? I think so. Doesn't it Saskatchewan? Saskatchewan has all the uranium, and
Indiana.
all the potash. Alberta's got oil. You get into Ontario and Quebec, and they're just loaded with like gold and natural gas, and they've got all this shit. But there's just so many rules and regulations in the way that they don't seem to be willing to develop it. And it's probably too late now to start getting into it. Is probably the problem is they waited too long. So I think if you play this thing out like a decade or two down the road, then it's more like, you don't have to worry about giving them seats or senators. It's just like you're Puerto Rico, man. You're
And
just
it's not that they waited too long. They
you're under our
purposefully
protection.
canceled it.
You're under our protection, but you don't get to vote, man. You don't get
Well,
to
I'm
vote.
waiting for
But
the
let's-
same thing to happen to fucking Ukraine. I mean, Trump was telling Zelensky, like, pay us the money back or give us your mineral rights, basically. And Zelensky was like, oh, fuck you. I don't think he's going to be in the picture that much longer anyway, but it seems like the U.S. is trying to do the same thing
Dude,
over
he's
there.
on a
It
plane
seems like a
there.
worldwide
He's on his-
takeover.
He's on his way to America. He's on the plane right now. He's signing the papers tomorrow.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's giving you the fucking mineral rights.
Oh my God. That's an update. Fucking breaking news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it makes me worry that they're gonna like let Russia fuck with us for a few years so that we just sign over our mineral rights.
That's
That'd be
mobster
the way to do
shit,
it.
dude.
That'd be the way to do it, right? You want to get Canada loving the U.S. again? Get some fucking Russians coming over the border.
I mean, I
Oh my
appreciate how
God.
open it is, right? It's no longer like pretending you're going to go to Iraq and fucking bring democracy and all this bullshit when really you're going after the oil. At least he's fucking admitting it. It's like it's an economical thing, right? We gave
He's a
him
mob
billions.
boss.
Grandma's embracing the empire.
Fucking rights right now.
Dun, 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 dun. I mean, we are at like Caesar. I don't know if we're at like Caesar or, but we're right at that pivot. Where
I
it's-
like China.
we're at the point where it's not clearly an empire yet, but we're pretty much done. We're past pretending it's a democracy.
It's an
No, no,
empire
no,
in
no, but
everything
the-
but name.
No, no, no,
Say it like
no, no.
another
It's
8
been
years
look
forward,
at no,
I
no,
don't
no, no,
even
no,
think
no,
they're
no, no,
voting
no,
anymore.
no, no, no. The
Fucking-
WEF and the UN and the climate change bullshit. That is the empire. That's why I don't fucking agree with all this. It's the globalist takeover has been stalled or stopped right now. Now let's see what if it becomes a globalist takeover on the way back. But we got to admit, I mean, we were getting close right there.
No,
So-
you got to love the wins. I like your optimism, Graham. You got to
He's
take the wins
undermining-
as they come.
He's
Is that how you
undermining
guys
it,
feel
man.
as
I mean,
Americans? Do you guys feel like you're at the tip of the spear for freedom still?
Us?
No, so
No.
it's funny. So I think we were lied to for so long that I can appreciate Graham's, his appreciation, I guess, towards the truth. We just want the truth. We want someone who's going to tell the truth, or at least, look like they're telling the truth. But I can't, I think, I don't want to speak for Joe too, but when I see someone doing that, I'm just like, I'm just going to hang out and see what actually plays out, because it's probably not going to be exactly what they're saying. But yes, that vision of having a leader who will actually do what they're saying they're going to do sounds great, even if it's like, yeah, I'm going to kill a bunch of people or do this horrible thing
Well, they all
eventually
do
at the end of the
that.
day. Yeah, at least they're being honest about it. The honesty I can appreciate, but it still might end up sucking.
Dude, that's
I
it.
don't, I
I
still
don't
don't
want
agree
him
with it.
kill. I mean, that's where I kind of draw the line. I don't want to.
No, I know.
there
I'm
shouldn't be
just
any
saying
more
it could
wars or
lead
any
to
more-
that eventually.
Yeah, that's the scary part. But
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I don't
where
want
it's
it to, and no more killing, no more wars. It's just that this web of NGOs needs to be brought down. I mean, the corruption in the globe right now is off the fucking charts. And then we've been talking about all of our shows and stuff. We've been talking about these NGOs and this grift going on. So finally it's coming to light. I mean, in a big way, right? I mean, Elon's fucking sitting there with Trump in the thing, cutting it out. I mean, but then half of our peer group and all these shows are like just freaking out about the technocracy and this and that. I mean, what are you going to do if you want to fucking cut government efficiency, which is a good thing because it never ever gets cut. It always grows and grows and grows. You do have to put new computer systems in place. You do have to replace legacy systems. I mean, but the fear mongering about it just becoming a technocracy all of a sudden is just over the.
You need new systems.
Of course
I'm
you
more
do.
like we should be just moving away from those systems, not like.
No, but I mean, of course you need some kind of fucking system in there, and they're not using them
Sure,
properly.
I
I mean,
get that, but you have to admit that that's an extreme centralization of power now, because now there's no all
how is it
these
worse
things
than it
that
was
might have been
before?
checks and balances before because they're
This is
individual.
the point. There was no checks and balances, dude. They were fucking handing out checks based on no authority whatsoever. There was no fucking things in the fields. There was no way to fucking
Maybe,
track it,
yeah,
to audit
sure,
it.
sure. I agree with you. If what they're telling me right now is true,
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah,
that's
that's the caveat is who knows.
it
But
could all be total fucking bullshit, and they're just clearing house and putting in computers, and now it's like
well,
just less accountability. I mean, because the thing with these computer companies, they're fucking impossible to deal with, and I think that's what the post office and everything else is going to turn into. It's like, oh yeah, fuck off, man. Yeah,
that's a good point. I mean,
click the
yeah.
link, click the fucking link, go to the link, and when you close the link, it's just like, nope. You know, I've I've been dealing with these fucking behemoths like Amazon and these huge companies for fucking years, dude, because we're in business with
And
fucking
X.
and X, and it's like you just get into this box. I mean, X is probably the example because it's probably very similar to that system that's going to be your fucking government one day. And when you're out of it, you're out of it, and there's no way to get back into it. There's no appeal system. There's no fucking phone number to call. There's not even really an email. There's like click this button and that's it. And Amazon
And the button never works.
and or you just get the same generic auto response like 3 seconds later. It's just the whole thing is going to turn into this weird WeChat sort of.
No, so I get where Graham's
mean,
coming from though
I
too,
get
and
it
he's
too, but
he's
I
trying
mean-
not to be a luddite about it. And it's like, yeah, systems change. Like people had the same concerns when car factories went automatic robot, putting all these cars together and all that. You can say whether that was good or not. I don't really know. I mean, cars, whatever.
Look,
We
I
all
used
kind of
to-
use them, but
I used to be
Yeah,
the
it wasn't good.
I used
It
to be the
wasn't good. Now they can shut your car off or make it drive into
Yeah.
a pole. It wasn't good.
but I used to be the director of business excellence in an aerospace company, right? And I had a team of people looking at improving the processes in the company, right? And I mean, this is a small aerospace company, 300, 400 people, maybe a couple different divisions, wide variety of aircraft parts and products and services. And you could see how inefficient that gets. Imagine a government. Imagine these corporations, how bad they get. Imagine the government where there's people that are getting paid when they're not doing anything. They're not even fucking coming to work. They're sending out checks that don't even belong to people. I mean,
Like Office Space.
the low hanging fruit there is so, there's so much of it and so easy. It's just exciting to see people even talking about it. Even if it doesn't happen, it still opened up a huge can of worms. Like it needs to be opened up.
Did Elon ever talk about the fact that, I mean, they call it Doge and the Dogecoin thing? He had that like whole.
Oh yeah, he's excited.
How about the fact that they all were fucking launching coins on their like elections and stuff like that? I mean, it's
Yeah, the
fucking
Trump coin, and
it's fucking
there were
crazy.
millionaires made. Yeah, but the fact that people are like, "Oh, Doge is doing all this great stuff," I'm like, it's called fucking Doge. What they named it that on purpose. The Department of Governmental Efficiency. Okay, Dogecoin, I think
the
was
coin
a
that
thing.
took a shit. Remember that one?
Well, it ended up doing really great. I made
For a
like
bit,
$4,000 on that by accident. I didn't look into it at all. I accidentally bought a shitload of Dogecoin because I thought it was fun, and I had $100 to blow. So I bought it when it was at 0.007 cents, and I bought like, I don't know, however many thousand shares. And the next day it was at $4,000, and I was like, okay, fuck yeah, and I cashed out. And then it did take a dump, but I think it's weird that Elon is all about this whole and Trump. Oh, Doge, we're gonna take apart the government, but no one's talking about the fact that it's named after a meme coin. Come on.
Well, because
it's like idiocracy. Like Darren
no,
said.
he did. Him and Trump both talked about it. I mean, Trump was like, "Should we do it? Should we not? Should we name it that?" And Elon's like, "Yeah, why not name it that? We've already had this Doge." Like,
Yeah, it's
so
just-
maybe they were faking it and acting. I don't know, but they made it sound synchronous. Like, can you? Like Elon said it a couple times. Like, can you imagine we had Doge and now it's the Department of Government Efficiency? But What's
Yeah,
that?
it's
What is
just
that backwards?
what?
What is it backwards?
EGOT.
EGOD.
EGOD?
EGOD. I mean, that's almost crazier than it becoming Doge, right? EGOD.
I don't get it.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's weird. I don't know if they're all they're cracked up to be. It does feel nice to have people doing what they're
Either
saying they're
they
going
knew
to do
Doge
and
was
telling the
coming,
truth, but
they knew Doge was coming, or it's some wag the
oh,
dog
dude,
bullshit.
no. I just don't. They
They
can't
just
look
start
that
pumping
far
up
ahead on it.
Doge a year before they come up with the Doge department. I mean, come on, man. You
right?
can't keep defending these people. It's like it's total fucking wag the dog. They knew it was coming. I mean, the mainstream media started all flipped. I mean, it was all, you know.
They flip back and forth depending on what they want the majority to do or what they want to see what people will
Yeah,
do.
and it seems like this time around they wanted Trump. I mean,
Hmm.
that was the difference. Is it seemed like everyone this time around wanted
Oh
Trump.
yeah.
So now we're in this weird situation where it's like, you know, the
Well,
machine
what's weird?
the machine has like brought us around again to where it's the counterculture. You know, it's like
No,
Yeah.
it's the pendulum. We talked about this 2 years ago. I was like, it looks like the pendulum has plateaued. I think we actually have a show called that, where everybody's got to the edge of the wokeness and everything, and they're like, it can only go the other way now, and it slowly started swinging, and now we're back at the other side, headed the other direction, and it just seems like a cycle that happens just over my lifetime, the last couple decades. I can see that happening over and over and over again every
except it gets
election, at least in the
crazier every
U.S.
time.
Yeah, it gets more extreme. It's
Mhm.
like going up
It's
and up
not
and up.
slowing down like a classic pendulum. It's
No, no, no. It's
like speed.
ramping up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the pirate
So
ship
what is the
at
far? I
the
mean,
carnival.
Yeah.
so the pardon the pun. So what does the far right swing of the pendulum look like this time?
I don't
This
know. Like, I think it looks about the
because
same. It's just a little different.
that's what this has got to be, right? I mean, regardless of anything else, Doge and Elon and Trump are the pendulum fucking swinging past center into the right. How far do you guys think it's gonna go, and what is that gonna look like?
We already have the Gulf of America, guys. Have you seen the Gulf of America?
Dude, that's such
Still says
posturing
Gulf of
weirdness.
So in Canada, it still says Gulf of Mexico, and then
Oh,
instead in brackets underneath it says Gulf of America.
okay.
That's such a weird
I haven't
hill to
checked in
die
a
on.
while. I
Like,
can check.
I'm
I'll
gonna
check again.
I'm gonna rename this Gulf the Gulf of America.
I feel
and
like there's a lot more important things to do. I agree
the
with
MAGA
you than
people
just
are like,
change the name of it.
America,
This is a
fuck
concern,
yeah.
right? If this is a concern, because I've read Trump's fucking books, The Art of the Deal, and all of them, and if this is like what's fucking flying around in the thing, it's like what the fuck is going on in the background? What are we missing? Are we getting
Right. Like, if that's the thing you're doing right now, like what else is going on?
But this time around, even like a bunch of the celebrities sort of came around, and they're like, "Yeah, Trump, man, we need
I
him."
just don't think it was. I just don't think it was made up. It's a real war. The vitriol is real from the other side, but we are seeing the fucking Silicon Valley, the tech bros get on board. It's exciting, man. You see people that want efficiency. They're venture capitalists. These people want things to be efficient. They want to go in and fucking hack and slash a company, make some money on it. Like it's a good old fucking some good old capitalism too, right? And
No,
some
it's like the
free
Wild
market. I mean,
West.
yeah, but
Yeah. No, and I
we need
love it.
some of
And
that, man.
so
We
I
need
think
some
you
of that
you hit on
blood
it
in the
perfectly.
system.
You hit on it perfectly, though. I don't think it's fake. I don't either. And that's the weird thing about false flags or psyops. It doesn't mean that it's fake. It doesn't mean that whatever's happening isn't happening. It just could be happening under false pretenses or for other reasons or
And
whatever.
we don't know what the repercussions of it will be until
Right. So
years later.
what I see on the surface right now, me likey. It looks great. I also love that the blue hairs heads are exploding by the dozens every day. Love that. But
And people
as
aren't
far
trying
as,
to
like,
push boys into playing in girl sports. Like that's
Or-
the thing that's slowly
yeah,
dying
whatever.
down
Like
too.
all the things on the surface, I love. It looks great, and I have no problem with it, and it's so fun to watch. I just don't know what the actual agenda is or whatever, and that's not something I'm gonna even be blackpilled on. We'll watch it, take it as
Yeah.
it comes. Accept the wins when they're there. And right now, it seems like we're fucking winning, and it's great. But just I'm waiting for the other shoe.
Well,
Call me a pessimist.
there's some bubbles gonna pop. I mean, Darren was talking about the retail bubble. There's the AI bubble. There's the bubble about like how
Walmart,
many
yeah.
thousands of people that weren't
Walmart
producing
just-
anything and getting paid. Like that's a bubble that's gonna pop.
Well, and Walmart, without any of that even happening, Walmart just reported like the lowest quarter in like 12 years or something like that for sales in America. I mean, the
That's because
bottom.
everybody steals their shit.
Yeah, and I mean, and we printed. I mean, you guys, and us printed. The entire planet printed so much money that it was bound to lose its value. It just like it's like you add printing all that money to shutting down the fucking supply chains for a couple months, and this is what that plays out to. It's like such a huge complex system that it can't break down and overnight. It can't break down in a few months. It can't even. It took a few years for us to really start seeing the repercussions of printing all this money, and I mean,
Right,
I
and like you were
where
saying,
I
to
am, I don't
extrapolate
even
down
see how
10
we
years
pull
out,
out.
who knows?
In Canada, there's giant chunks of Canada that are, I don't even know what they're gonna do. What's outside of like massive government spending, there's fucking no hope. There's literally, you could cut the tax rate to zero. It don't fucking matter. Nobody's gonna go to these places, start businesses and stuff anymore. They've just sort of gutted the place. They've really, I don't know what the fuck Canada can do outside of its natural resources to stimulate the economy at this point. We're almost at the point where it's gonna start getting weird. I mean, it's
It's
gonna
going to be
start.
like plantations up there. You're all going to be slaves now, because you aren't already, but you'll be
I think
actual
it's
slaves.
I think it's more gonna look like Russia. It's just gonna sort of break down to where you'll have like hyper controlled cities, and the all services and everything sort of, the further you get from those, it's just gonna break down to almost, there won't be any cops, but there won't be any running water or
It's going
like
to be like Resident Evil 2 or 3, where it's like kind of Mad Max, or you're just fucking going through the desert trying to find whatever gas or water you can. I'm down for that at this point. We were just watching Fallout again with my kid, and I'm like, why do I crave that scenario of the chaos of just being like, here's this weird little city people built out of garbage heaps. I kind of want to go there and smell
It's
that and see what they got.
because you're in the moment. Yeah, you're forced to be in the moment in that survival aspect.
Right.
Like the
Yes.
meaning, your meaning is like survival, right? I mean, we miss that meaning in life, right? We're missing that.
I think we all miss
It's
that
the hero's
meaning.
journey. What's
we
that?
could get into conquering some shit, man, and cutting some fucking heads off. Let's do it. I
And
mean,
wearing dope goggles and shit. I would last. I'm under no delusion. In that scenario, I would last probably 40 seconds, but it would be the greatest 40 seconds of my life, and I could remember that in the next incarnation. What were
Yeah,
you saying?
no, I was just saying, with being under a government, it's super comfortable to be able to live our lives in our comfy house and not have to worry because there's police that protect us, and we have healthcare, and we have all these governmental agencies protecting us, quote unquote. But when you don't have that and you just have to rely on yourself, I feel like that's where you find your true purpose, where you find your true soul self.
Can you find out how
It
big
sounds
your balls are
dumb,
and
but
whether you have them or not?
yeah, I don't know. I think that's where we're meant to be, but you can trade that in for comfort any day, and that's fine too. I'm not disagreeing with either side. I think
No,
it's
but I wish we
okay.
had the option a bit, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
problem is when can we have the option if the because one thing I learned recently
might
with
be too
Darren
old.
and I, what?
Well, I said it's coming, but you might just be too old. You might like just be. You'll get
Hey,
it, but you'll be
whatever. Then
too old
that's
to
that, then
enjoy
that's like
it.
then I'll be the the
Push you
inspiring
around.
grandfather figure. That's fine with me.
He'll be Walter on
And
Fringe.
make
He'll
you
be
one of
the
them
wise old
sleds
guy.
behind the horse, one of the TP poles, and we'll just like throw you on there with some blankets.
But the point is that I realized for a while, during COVID with Darren and I in Canada here is that some people really their freedom, their version of freedom is that they want to be taken care of. Like that makes them feel free, right? I mean, but we want to take care of ourselves, and at some point you'd think that we'd be able to get to the point where you can have both worlds,
I think to break it down to gender stereotypes, as a male person, it makes me feel free for the only thing I have to worry about is to care for my family. That would be great. That'd be awesome. Everyone else, no taxes, no fuck off. This is my little dirt pile, and I'm gonna hunt squirrels and shit, and I'm gonna feed my family that shit. It's the most primal shit ever. But we have that here too, though, where people would rather have soft comfort and
Well, now
easy
taking care of your
lies.
family is going to work for the man, so you can buy a house and then pay for that house, and that's
It's
how
way
you're
more
taking care of your
involved.
family. And
Yeah.
you have to have a birthday party for your kid and do all this fancy other shit.
No, I
You have
don't.
to celebrate all the Hallmark holidays too, or else your wife will be mad. I'm not. I don't care about that shit. But
You fuck
a lot of
off.
people are. They get very angry about what did we do on Valentine's Day? I feel like we both worked and like didn't.
I mean,
maybe
like
we
pizza
watched-
rolls or something.
Yeah. Nothing special though.
No, I refuse to participate in that stupid shit. The calendar, like, fuck off with all
Yeah.
that. That's beyond the scope of what I feel like doing during my day. So, I'm not worried about those. Do you do that, Darren? Did you send Shauna flowers on Valentine's Day, or did you deliver them, hand deliver them?
No, I can't remember what we did.
My dude,
We did something. Watched a movie, maybe.
we probably did
I
that
feel like
too.
we did the same. I think we got ice cream and just like watched an
Yeah.
episode of a show or something.
And I
but-
never once said Happy Valentine's Day unless it was in a mocking manner.
Yeah. I don't think I remembered. I don't even know what day it was.
I just don't
but-
get Valentine's Day. Oh, here's some candy hearts and be
But
mine.
I started
and
a new job and everyone gave out stuff. So it's in an office and everyone was like, Happy Valentine's Day. Here's this. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's Valentine's Day. All right. That's cool.
Now
Oh, I
it's
forgot
added
about
to
it.
like you get to give shit to everybody. I'm like, when is that? Why can't it just be the one you want to be your Valentine? It
Hey,
used to
man.
be.
Because they make
Be
more
my
money if you get
Valentine.
everybody.
We gotta fix the economy. You gotta spend money. It's the only way. Spend
Yeah.
the fucking money.
I do feel though like Trump won't go down. He won't go down like the left would, and I hate to say that. Like I feel like if Kamala got elected, she would just lie her way into like thinking, making us think that the economy is doing great. But Trump will tell us. He'll be like, "Well, the economy sucks. This is what we got to do." I'm not saying what he's going to do will be right or wrong, but I do think he'll tell us flat out what's going to happen.
Kamala would just be like, cackle, cackle. I don't know.
She'd be like,
It'd be like idiocracy.
Jupiter's a big planet and Mars is a small planet. Like I don't know.
know.
She would say some
Money's
dumb shit.
You know, the importance of money is money. I can't even imagine her being our president.
The
But,
significance of the passage of time.
before we cut you guys loose for the night, though, I did want to get your thoughts on the current Epstein list situation, which seems to be another big fucking.
I mean, could it be more pathetic? Didn't they give it to
I-
the influencers? I mean,
Well, I
was
mean,
like,
well-
that's like Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, I heard they got a call from a whistleblower late last night that Cash Patel and Pam Bondi that they what is it? The Southern District of New York have held a bunch of stuff back. There's a whole bunch of stuff missing out of it. So
like most of it, it looks like big black blocks.
Every of it.
Weird.
Like
So
everyone, every
that's the
name.
story. But I mean,
But I seen a bunch of influencers coming out of the White House.
I
holding
know, but
banners.
so what? It's instead of the mainstream media because you give it to them, what's going to happen, right? I mean,
I'll
so
tell you
I
what they should've
appreciate
done.
again. I appreciate them
Upload
just
it on
doing
the
a dip.
fucking-
Well, can you let me
No.
just say something before
Alright.
you interrupt? I can't. We're talking over each other here.
We're good at that.
Can't they just do something a little differently? Again,
they can
everybody on
upload
X
it.
is flipping out because of the influencers, the internet people. Like, so they don't want to give it to the mainstream. So what? Just let people do what they want with it.
But why not just let me download it then, and you download it, and Joe download?
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah.
Because that's kind of what they pretended they were going to do in the beginning, right? They were going to like, oh, we're going to post the legislation here for a week before so you could read it, so you can tell people how they're going to vote. And now
It's the exact same thing that, and people who listen to the show know I have a huge problem with Freedom of Information Act requests. It's bullshit. If you get it, if you pay the money, 6 months later, you might get a piece of paper that says the and an at on it, and the rest is redacted. This is what that seems like to me, where they're like, don't worry, we're releasing them. Here's 5,000 pages of black boxes.
It's the same
like,
reason
okay.
they say that. Okay, it's the same reason they say that any content is harmful. If this big media outlet is saying this content is too harmful, it's because they know that people are very easily influenced and they have a much bigger agenda that they want to influence into their brains than and this might take from that. So they are like, oh, well, we have our own agenda. You can't listen to this or that or the other. Like, ugh.
What do you think about it, Darren?
I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's going to be a big scam. I think it's going to
Nothing
be
burger.
a big nothing
Yeah.
burger.
I
Yeah,
called it
at
a
the
super
minimum,
bacon nothing
they're, like,
burger with
building up-
cheese.
It makes me think that, Adam from No Agenda is right when he talks about they're building a new media. I mean, Now, instead of just giving it to us so we could all download it, which should be easy, put it on X. Boom, here you go. But instead, it's got to go through these new people who we're supposed to start trusting them. So they're going to give us just enough names that we can start trusting them for our news instead of, because they're, they need their dissemination things.
They don't want us to think for ourselves. They don't want us to have our own opinions.
I mean, this
I
has
think.
Edward Bernays and Tavistock written all over it. That exact idea. Like, oh my God, if that's what's going on, at least we can see it. Kind of. I don't know, but we could be being duped too. You always leave that open in your mind, people. You could be also being duped by us.
Was to dupe us.
I mean, we're brainwashed. I mean, I think the difference is we admit it. We try to deal with it. We try to not be.
Trying to figure our way out of it.
Right,
Yeah.
we're the insane people that are wondering if we're insane, admitting it, and trying to figure out how we're insane.
Well, I think it's okay to like things and have opinions on things. That's okay. You should be able to speak your mind and have other people say maybe why they think differently. They don't have to disagree or agree. They can think differently. I guess that is disagreement, but there doesn't have to be a fight or an argument about it.
It does from one side of the aisle. Let me tell you, I saw some, I don't know what it was, some post on Facebook. I don't know why it was recommended to me, but it was like, a lot of friends on the right always say, if you disagree, at least we can still be friends. If we disagree politically, we can still be friends. And it was like, no, we can't be friends. If you agree that deporting illegals, harming a woman's right to choose, and they listed all the talking points. They're like, then no, we can't be friends.
I like how you're doing like an either gay or feminine voice right now. That's pretty awesome.
They're interchangeable. Yeah.
You're like, I know the person who's thinking this.
But that's from one side of the aisle. They're like, no, if you disagree with me, we absolutely can't be friends because you are a horrible person.
Right.
That's how they look at it. It's like, what do you do?
Well, then they've been influenced in the wrong ways. People shouldn't be like that.
Then I'm like, okay, let's not be friends then. Bye.
Look at everyone as your brother and sister. Just fucking get along, do your own thing.
Yeah. Easier said than done, I guess.
I mean, I guess.
Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Anything you guys got cooking in the background or any links you want to share? I mean, I'll put all your links in the notes, of course, but anything else you have to add?
There's so many links. I mean, if you go to Grime, we should have a link tree.
Grimerica.ca,
right? A link tree. Grimerica.ca will have all our stuff there.
/support.
That's even better. Better. But that we have audiobooks and all sorts of stuff. You can get to all of it from Grimerica.ca.
Also, new GrimericaCBD.com, which I'm waiting on the promo link so we can do that, but I'll still plug it anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're all waiting.
All right, you guys, have a great night. Thanks, Graham. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Jen. Hey, yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
niggas.
hey.
Good to see you guys.
All right. Thanks, thanks all you retarded faggots out there.
What up, retarded faggots?
We will see you next time.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Oh, wow. Graham just fucked right off.
I thought you were going to close it out. Sometimes